These mouth-watering moments of delicious low-fat, low-cholesterol delights were brought to you by the American Heart Association. Because we believe you'll eat right if you know what's good for you. Give us a call. The American Heart Association. We're fighting for your life.
Experience the friendly faces and casual conversation of CNN's Crossfire.
Despicable, disturbing, unbelievable, cold-blooded,
horribly irresponsible,
phony.
In any event, you won't come out even.
Crossfire, weeknights at 7:30.
Tom, what makes you so lovable?
Like an evening with good friends.
Every weekday evening, Prime News on CNN is 60 minutes of the world's most comprehensive, unbiased news coverage. Experience Prime News every weekday evening at 8 Eastern on CNN.
Smile.
Kodak introduces the automatic, nothing to it. All you do is aim and shoot it.
You put the film in.
You close it, you open it, and you shoot it. Bingo.
Kodak VR35.
It's 35 millimeter and it's so simple.
It focuses, advances.
It rewinds by itself.
Great shot.
Fantastic.
I can shoot with a 35 millimeter camera. This one.
All you do is aim
and shoot it.
Kodak VR35.
I love this camera.
It's new.
I think there are three nevers to being a winning coach. Never let the press pick your starting quarterback. Never take a last-place team lightly. And really, no matter what the score, never let them see you sweat.
That's what new Dry Idea aerosol is all about. Maximum control. It keeps you drier than the leading aerosol.
Everyone feels pressure. Winners don't let it show.
Dry Idea. Never let them see you sweat.
Meet an extraordinary French wine, Rene Junot. Rene Junot. Imported from France. Get to know Rene Junot. Rene Junot is slightly extraordinary French wine.
Shopping with two active kids in a busy mall can cause a real headache. Take Linda Lonigan.
I cannot stand to take two kids shopping. It gives me a headache. If I had aspirin in my hand right now, I would take it.
What she took was extra-strength Tylenol caplets. Last year, hospitals dispensed Tylenol 10 times more than the next 4 brands combined.
My headache's gone. I feel wonderful, and I love it.
If Tylenol worked for Linda Lonigan, and it's the pain reliever hospitals use most, shouldn't you use Tylenol too?
The Time Machine is here. A new anti-aging cream that works to reduce years of lines and wrinkles. So different, it's known only by its laboratory code, FD29. So different, you can see and feel dramatic skin improvement in only 21 days. If you need any more proof than that, we can't help you. FD29, The Time Machine, by Francis Denney.
United Van Lines, the mover for all reasons. And now there are more reasons than ever for making United your mover. Whether it's moving your family, relocating your business, or shipping high-value products anywhere in the world, your nearby United Van Lines agent is the professional you can count on. For business or treasure, call the one moving company with a golden guarantee of quality service. United Van Lines, the mover for all reasons. Look for your local United agent in the Yellow Pages.
Coming up on Moneyline tonight, we'll tell you about the biggest ever one-day decline in the Dow. The Dow off almost 42 points, and market expert Bob Arago will be here to tell us why it happened. We'll report on our worsening trade deficit, another $14 billion, and springtime, crisis time in the Farm Belt. Join us tonight for Moneyline, right here on CNN.
Cristal Dark for juices. Cristal Dark on the rocks. Cristal Dark for strawberries. Cristal Dark for champagne. Cristal Dark for jelly beans or for when you're thirsty. Whatever you put in it, Cristal Dark is for beauty. And best of all, it's surprisingly affordable. Cristal Dark, French lead crystal.
Superstation Profile, Chuck Tanner, skipper of America's team, the Atlanta Braves.
The day of the game is the most important day for you and your team. You should never quit, not only in baseball, but in life. Never quit. Never, never quit.
This team is your team, America's team.
Stand and cheer for our great nation. Super Sports on the Superstation.
Braves versus Mets, 7:35 Eastern tonight.
My turn to treat you to dinner.
Well, well, wonders never cease. What about your promise of romance?
Later, sweetheart.
Where to, hotshot?
Down under, you know, 91 Purchase Street, Fall River.
You sound like a commercial. But that's okay, I love their lunch menu.
Wait till you see what they offer for dinner. Steaks, seafood. Quite frankly, my dear, you will give it.
Okay, okay.
Now, about that romance.
Stay right where you are, hotshot. The night is young.
I found out something about linguiça that I didn't know before. Some linguiça companies add water to their linguiça just to increase their profit. Check out the label on the package. If it says there's water in the ingredients, that means up to 10% of what you're paying for is water. From now on, I'm buying only Amaral's quality linguiça for my family.
There's no water added to any of Amaral's quality meat products.
I like Amaral's.
Let it shine. Let the sunbeam toast your day. Let it shine. With a smile and an open face, there's slice after slice of sunshine in batter with Sunbeam Bread.
Toast your day with Sunbeam Bread with raisins. Just think of it, a delicious but different golden French toast made a special way with raisin bread. Or sunny cinnamon toast made with Sunbeam Bread with raisins. It's a perfect snack. When it comes to bread, have a slice of sunshine with Sunbeam.
If you're looking for carpet, you can look at carpet after carpet after carpet, and they all may look and feel pretty good. But there's no guarantee how well they'll perform in your home. Your Armstrong Carpet Studio has Armstrong Anything Goes carpet. It's guaranteed not to matter crutch for 10 full years, or Armstrong will replace it free. And for a limited time only, there's a sensational sale on Anything Goes. Get great savings on the carpet guaranteed for 10 full years at these Armstrong Carpet Studios now.
Good evening. Coming up next on Moneyline, stock prices plummet today, the biggest one-day loss in the Dow in the history of the exchange. Most market experts, however, say it's nothing more than a bit of profit-taking. We'll hear what Robert Arago, the Director of Equity Research at Merrill Lynch Capital Markets, has to say about all of that. The United States racks up another trade deficit with our trading partners. We'll have a special report for you this evening on what lies ahead for some trade legislation making its way through Congress now. Grain prices move higher again today. Facts still hard to come by on just how severe an impact that the nuclear disaster in the Soviet Union will be. And I'll be talking with Lori Law, an expert on the Soviet economy from E.F. Hutton. She says the agricultural sector has always been the Achilles heel of the Soviet Union. This week's disaster, she says, is bound to spill over into other parts of the Soviet economy. All of that, a lot more coming up for you next on Moneyline. First, we turn to Flip Spiceland for the latest in weather. Flip?
Thanks, Lou. Heavy thunder showers plague the middle of the nation. You can see them here, stretch from Iowa down through Missouri. They've been in portions of Kansas today. They stretch down through southern Missouri into portions of Arkansas. We've had no reports of any severe or damaging weather, but our reports have been very sparse out of this area, ironically enough. We can tell the weather has been heavy, however, and Stephen Coach will have reports on it throughout the evening hours, and we'll have Moneyline for you right after this.
Hi, this is Larry King in Washington. Join me tonight for another edition of Larry King Live. Great guests, interesting interviews, open phones, and anything can happen. It's Larry King Live, and it's going to happen tonight at 9 Eastern on CNN. Don't miss it.
It's said to be millions of times worse than 3 Mile Island. As the fire in Russia rages on, Americans are wondering how it will affect us. For continuing coverage, stay with CNN.
This is CNN, a service of Turner Broadcasting System. This is Moneyline with Lou Dobbs. Wednesday, April 30th, 1986.
Good evening. Nervous investors cashing in on utility and transportation stocks. That sent the Dow Jones Industrial Average tumbling. At the closing bell, the blue chip indicator off more than 41 points. That the largest one-day drop in the Dow ever. But no one seems to be panicking, saying the market was poised for a correction, a drop. And the Treasury's long bond, also a loser on the day, off 1.5 points, most of that decline coming after Treasury announcing it will try to raise $27 billion in its quarterly refunding next week. We'll have more on that for you later in Moneyline. And a big drop in orders for U.S. factory goods last month. Factory orders plunging 2.3%. That the biggest decline in factory orders in 2 years. Orders for non-durable goods falling the most because of a slack production in petroleum and chemical industries. Defense orders increasing, surging 45% higher in the month of March. The U.S. merchandise trade deficit swelling in March despite lower oil prices and declining dollar. The U.S. trade deficit expanded, increasing slightly, but not at the pace that some analysts had anticipated because of the weakening dollar. Imports, especially from Japan, still flooding the market. Well, to help trim our massive trade deficit, at least 2 congressional committees spent the day trying to shape a trade reform bill. President Reagan, about to meet with trading partners in Tokyo, will try to use the threat of protectionist legislation to his advantage. Deborah Marchini reports from Washington.
Issues or politics? That's a question that can be asked anytime Congress takes up a bill. And it's being asked frequently now as legislators toil at changing the trade laws on the eve of President Reagan's visit to the Tokyo summit.
Here in these substantive parts of the trade law, we're trying to speed up the decision-making time to make our laws more definite, to prevent unfair trade practices that are internationally recognized as being unfair.
Congress is committed to doing that in one catch-all trade bill, sending it to the floor by the middle of May. A key proposal would mandate remedies when the International Trade Commission finds domestic harm from foreign subsidies. That would take away some of the discretion the president now enjoys. Not surprisingly, U.S. Trade Representative Clayton Yiter and other administration officials have branded the measures protectionist and all but promised a presidential veto. Still, some members of Congress profess optimism.
I'm not convinced yet that they're going to oppose what we've done. I hope they'll support it. Our whole effort is to try to strengthen their hands so that they can be more effective in getting rid of the trade deficit we're suffering with today.
That's the public agenda, but others say the private agenda is different, that congressional Democrats want to force the president to veto trade legislation so they'll have an issue to counter the Republicans in November. There's one thing both sides agree on, that the threat of protectionist legislation gives President Reagan a strong bargaining chip at the summit, where he plans to press for a new round of multilateral trade talks. So this is one case where political jockeying could do more to solve our trade disputes than all the issue-oriented legislation in the world. Deborah Marchini, CNN on Capitol Hill.